It's time for elections in Europe. Those take place between the 6th and the 9th of June. Every 5 years, European citizens are able to vote for their representatives in the European Parliament. In Germany, this traditionally happens on a Sunday, in this case, the 9th of June. The topic of European elections raises questions for many people. One of them is Chris from Germany. He knows that the members for the European Parliament are elected, but who decides which parties are represented? The European Parliament is the only European institution that is elected directly by its citizens, after all. In some respects, the elections are the same in each country. The election is universal, direct, accessible, and secret. Elections take place under the concept of proportional representation. Basically, the more votes a group receives, the more seats they have. Since there are no uniform systems for any further proceedings, the other regulations vary from country to country. In Germany, elections happen through a closed list system. This means that the order of candidates in a party is already decided upon. Eligible to vote is anyone who is at least 16 and a German citizen. Additionally, your place of residence must have been in Germany for at least 3 months. Chris has 1 vote to spend on one of the lists. His girlfriend Aurora, who lives in Germany but is an Italian citizen, can decide if she wants to vote in the German or the Italian election. For this, she has to apply for the electoral register. Voting by mail is also an option for both. Chris asks himself what the MPs in Parliament even do. Well, for example, the European Parliament generally controls EU processes, decides on the EU budget with the Council of Ministers, and elects the President of the European Commission. Additionally, the Parliament, together with the Council of Ministers, reviews legislative proposals from the EU Commission and adopts them. This is how the roaming regulation came into law, which enables Chris to make calls and surf the internet in other EU countries, just like if he was at home. The representatives mainly work in parliamentary committees, like for example the Committee for Agriculture, Justice, or Culture and Education. Every member state has a different number of representatives, relative to their population. The higher the population, the more seats the country has in Parliament. This time around, Germany has 96 seats. Smaller states get a certain number of extra seats to ensure that they are not underrepresented. This is called degressive proportionality. As soon as the election results are in, the seats are assigned. Most national parties form international European parties. These are, for example, the Greens or the European People's Party. Some also establish fractions with other parties to increase their political influence. The elections themselves are not funded by the European Union itself, but by each of the member states for their own countries, respectively. Chris reads that many German laws are based on decisions the EU makes. He is often unaware how big of a role the European Union plays in his life. That's why the European elections are more important than many assume. Simply put, every vote counts.